Now, what did the MMC of Economic Development, Councillor Nkuli Mbundu, discover during an unplanned oversight visit in Soweto? One of the most contentious issues that the city of Johannesburg is dealing with is the issue of hijacked buildings. The city's Group Forensic and Investigation Services says they've received over 1,700 complaints of problem properties in the city, especially in the south of Joburg. One such property was discovered by the MMC of Economic Development, Councillor Nkuli Mbundu, during an oversight visit in Soweto.
Turns out that there's a facility which is running as a waste collection and waste sorting facility. And we decided to pay a visit because we're told that it belongs to the city of Johannesburg. And when we arrived here, we realized it's actually a Joburg market property that was built about 10 years ago, so I hear. And it was a distribution hub for Joburg market to provide food to the people of Soweto, to decentralize and cut the journey short for them to be able to get traders to come and buy from here. For some reason, it looks like the commercial viability was an issue, and they stopped operating, and JPC were then responsible for taking the property and maintaining it. In the process, it was hijacked. We arrived here, it is nothing close to what it's supposed to be. We looked for the owner, and the people who were working at the gate locked, and we asked to come in, and they wouldn't let us in. They told us that the owner is gone to the shops, he'll come back, he's got the keys. Surprisingly, the owner did rock up, arrogantly so, and they came with the keys from the inside and they opened. And we started interrogating, does he have a lease to operate this property? And there was a back and forth with a department official. Apparently some kind of undocumented agreements had been done a few years ago where they would regularize this operation. And upon further interrogating, we realized that actually he doesn't have a lease. What then surprised us the most was they had an illegal connection of electricity. They have been operating here for a good couple of years, and they're operating a heavy-duty machinery and doing waste sorting. And not just sorting, but I would imagine it's crushing plastic and burning it, or whatever the case is, without any certificate of compliance, definite fire hazard, and they've been drawing free electricity. And interrogating him on what has he done to regularize his business, and he points us back to the department official, and it went back and forth. We then called JMPD, and JMPD immediately realized that this has to be shut down. This operation cannot continue. Mm-hmm. So my interest really is to protect and preserve the integrity of the property of the city, ideally to restore it to what it was intended to be, because there is a call for the market to be decentralized and to bring food closer to the people of Soweto, as in the case with the other, would be the case with the other townships as well, so that people don't get congested into city deep. So we're going to take this back and look into the viability of resuscitating this facility, but certainly we cannot leave it as it is. We've instructed the owner to shut it down, and if he wants to regularize it, he's got to follow the normal process. We've given him contacts into the JPC for him to do the applications, but also get the necessary paperwork.
The building occupant has been identified as Mr. Gordon Nkuna, who was also found to have been employing undocumented foreigners.
Hello, where are the other people? Come out, school. Hello. Why are you underneath the bed there? Come out. Hey, Guanya! Where's the other one?
They're outside. Was 2 here.
Was 2? Oh.
He initially lied to us saying he's hiring South Africans, and when we spoke to each and everyone, it's Zimbabwe, Malawi, Mozambique, none of them have got papers, they are on cheap labor. His complaint is that South Africans are too expensive to hire. It talks to the heart of our economic struggles in the townships. So I think it's something that we just stumbled upon, and I can only imagine how many of these facilities are existing around that have been hijacked like this.
Although the workers said they travelled from Orange Farm to Soweto daily, the visual on the ground said otherwise.
What was the start?
They were all later arrested. With 10 years of occupancy without consequences, what does this say about local government and its management of the city's infrastructure?
You get to wonder what has government been doing all along, because there's clearly what appears to be an element of illegality between officials and collusion, rather, between officials and these business people. Someone is collecting from someone and protecting this thing. One of the officials here is a regular here, and I'm asking, if you've been here for the past 3 years and you've collected documentation, number one, what is the process? Because is there any city prescribed process to regularize? There isn't any. Where did you get your instructions? I got them from my executive director. Can you say that on record? And he doesn't want to. So you start to realize that there's collusion between these people. So this is a systematic failure by government and officials that allows for such things to happen. I don't understand how something like this could not be escalated to us. The market is a strategic asset to the city. It provides food, especially for the indigent people. And yet we can allow it to collapse, and we'll always be maintaining this environment. So it's really, I don't know whether disappointing is the word. I think it'd be an understatement. It's really disappointing, really, to find that we have allowed our facilities to get to the state, but particularly by officials and colluding with business people. I'm not making that as a matter of fact, but I think I've got it on good authority that the only reason that this thing can thrive like this without oversight is because, number one, there's no political will, and number two, there must be some commercial interests, and that's why this tide is not turning, but it is about to turn now.
This building was initially meant to serve as another branch of the Joburg market, which was not only meant to cut costs for Soweto residents, but also to stimulate the local economy.
If you think about it, the market that we've got in City Deep is the largest fresh produce market in the Southern Hemisphere. It feeds over 30 million people, but it is congested. It's reaching its capacity. People have to wake up very early to drive all the way to the market, and by the time they come back, they're stuck in traffic to open up their trades in the townships. The idea here was, can we cut that short and bring the produce from the market into here, cut what would have been a 3-hour trip into the market into 30 minutes, so that you're up early to catch the people that are traveling to work and be able to sell to them, or even later in the afternoon, catch people that come back from our transport hubs to be able to buy fruit and veg and go home and cook. We live in an economy where people live on a day-to-day basis. They can't afford to buy for 5 days ahead or a month ahead. They buy for today. So you've got to make sure that food is made available at the taxi ranks, at certain spots in the township. So this cuts that long journey and ensures that people have the ability to thrive, to run their business more efficiently.
Mr. Goni Nkuna refused an interview with us, citing the absence of his legal representation. So where to from here?
Well, we've got the obligation to secure the integrity of the property. There's a conversation that's taking place between JPC and the market to revive the SLA that was there before. For the refurbishment and potential refurbishment of the site, we'll do an analysis of the viability. But it's not something that's going to take months. It'll take days, if not weeks, to look at the viability of bringing back that model. So there is a working team between JPC and the market. I'll be personally in touch with the chair of the market to highlight the importance of them supporting this initiative. And with regards to the person that's running this operation, unfortunately, I wish I could be sympathetic and say, let us help you regularize. But if you're already breaking the laws, and you've been doing so for 4 years, and that as a business person you've got the responsibility to get your affairs in order, and you're not doing that. I went down to asking about his tax affairs. How does he account for his cost if he's employing illegal immigrants who do not even, does he even pay UIF? Does he pay PAYE? How does he write off those costs against tax? So is it, dodging tax? There's just so many questions that are left unanswered. So he's appealing to us to help him regularize it. And unfortunately, there is no quick process to do that. we have got to follow the prescripts of MFFMA, SCM. If we have to make an exemption, we've got to make it for everybody else. So where we stand right now, we take it back, take advice from the departments that are involved. But more importantly, we just need to cut the bleeds and make sure that we shut down the facility, that it no longer utilizes electricity illegally. And if the owner, and like many other owners, wants to be in partnership and be supported by the city, just get your affairs right.
Group Forensic and Investigation Services says the department has secured 28 successful prosecutions and convictions.